Welcome into the Browns Report, everybody, by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Joey O'Donohue, and the news just doesn't stop in Cleveland. It's official. Joe Flacco has been named the Week 1 starter for the Browns. We'll chop it up, talk about why we like this move, and it'll be against the Cincinnati Bengals, division rival, of course. Joe Burrow versus Joe Flacco, Sunday, September 7th, with Joey O on the host, the watch party. Make sure you be there for that. But, guys, I think it's a good move. I think it's exciting that Cleveland is going with old Joe Flacco as the starter. And in fact, on August 13th, Flacco himself was starting to allude that he was feeling good about it. He said, the last couple of weeks, honestly, it's been pretty good for me. I've gotten to get more reps and get comfortable and feel like I'm doing things at a pretty high level. And we know Flacco can do things at a high level for Cleveland. Who remembers the magical playoff run in 2023 with Joe Flacco behind the helm? Got about 5 starts and finished the regular season 4-1 in those starts. And we saw the Browns in the playoffs just 2 years ago, ladies and gentlemen. So I do think it's the best move for the Browns to have Joe Flacco, the old vet, start at the helm for Cleveland and let all the other young quarterbacks in the room learn from him. Learn from a guy that's won a Super Bowl MVP, and then a decade later is still balling in the league. But I'm curious what you guys think. Are you excited to see Flacco start? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Do you think it should be Shedeur, Gabriel Pickett, or are you like, yes, Joe's the man for the job week 1? Let me know in the comments. And there's more news in Cleveland, folks. Isaiah Bond has officially signed with the Cleveland Browns today, Monday. It's a 3-year deal, fully guaranteed, worth $3.018 million. A good value for a player that was likely going to be at least a third-round pick, if not higher. Some mock drafts had him going late first, in the second even. It's good value for the Cleveland Browns. But right before we get into Bond news, we just want you to know we got you covered here on the Browns Report. When there's breaking news, we'll make instant reaction videos about it. We'll talk about all the details, everything you need to know. That's why you should go ahead, drop a subscribe so we can keep doing this all season long. We're so close to 50,000 subscribers. It's going to be electric on the channel when we hit it. Just 255 away. So go ahead, drop that subscribe button right now, please. And then we'll get into the Isaiah Bond details. So this is what happened. These are the details of the case, because it's a controversial signing. Bond actually turned himself in for the sexual assault warrant on April 10th. He later filed a federal complaint against his accuser, claiming that Bond was a victim of false allegations and coercion attempt. Now, a grand jury has no-billed Bond's case and effectively dropped all charges. This is what Cleveland was waiting for, to see how this case would play out. And Andrew Berry gave a statement saying, "We spent much of the last calendar year getting to know Isaiah as a player and professional, and much of the last 4 months gaining a full understanding of his legal situation. On the legal side, we have done extensive research that includes, but is not limited to, hearing from both sides of the case and receiving the results of an independently administered polygraph test. It is these touch points and more that gave us the necessary insights to make this decision. With his legal matter resolved through a no bill by a grand jury, Isaiah is focused on learning from this experience while moving forward with his life and career." And football-wise, it's exciting for Cleveland. The kid was a top prospect in the draft and went undrafted due to these legal concerns. Clocked a 4.3940 at the combine. We know he's got speed. He can play wide. He can play in the slot. He's versatile. He's also got super quick acceleration in his change of direction. So DB's trying to guard him. It's 1 step, 2 step, boom, he's off to the races. And as I said, he was projected to be a pick in the first round, second round, or third, most likely, before the incident. But as you saw from the statement from Andrew Berry, Cleveland went and did their due diligence before making any deal with Bond. So they really liked him leading up to the draft, but due to the concerns, they weren't able to move forward at all. That statement by Berry, including, as you saw, that they received results of a polygraph test, it seems the Browns really did do their research and wait before making a signing. And I know it's controversial, but it is because of his blazing speed and football ability and the fact that he was essentially found not guilty. It is promising, I believe, to have Bond in Cleveland. And when you add him to the list of all the rookies that Cleveland has put together now, this is something to be fired up for, Browns fans. Mason Graham, 5th pick in the draft. The Browns also landed Shedeur Sanders, Carson Swessinger, who's a stud linebacker out of UCLA. He's everywhere on the field. And without JOK, the Browns are going to need him. Quinshon Judkins likely going to be signing with the Browns officially as well, now that his charges have been dropped. And then Harold Fannin Jr., someone who dominated the MAC at the tight end position. Another rookie quarterback in Dylan Gabriel. Browns really trying to find the guy of the future. And now you add Isaiah Bond to that mix and Dylan Sampson, an explosive, quick running back out of Tennessee. What a rookie class. Props to Andrew Berry. Incredible. If you told me that would be the Browns rookies, I'd say, how many first-round picks do they have? Fantastic. I want to know in the comments, are you guys excited about the Bond deal? Type Y for yes, N for no. I think it's an exciting time in Cleveland right now with all their young prospects, all the rookies they've got. Adding Bond to the list is promising in my opinion, but let me know what you think. More news in Cleveland. Kevin Stefanski talked about having 4 quarterbacks on the roster. And he said, quote, "Yeah, I think we'll let it play out as we get closer to the cut down. Those are all conversations that we are always having, but those are tough decisions. You know, I'd like to keep everybody, but not realistic." So Stefanski's saying there might be a chance they start cutting one of the 4 quarterbacks. It's Shedeur, Flacco, Gabriel, and Pickett, not in that order at the moment, but it should be in that order in my opinion. I think Shedeur and Flacco have to stay on the roster. It seems pretty obvious that Flacco will be staying. He's the week 1 starter. We got that breaking news, top of the show for you. And I think Shedeur is a guy you cannot let walk. Not only does he bring sales and eyes to your team, but I actually think pure talent-wise, his ceiling is higher than any other quarterback in the room right now. He was supposed to be a top pick in the draft. He led the FBS in completion percentage without an offensive line, without a run game in Colorado. He's talented. He's good at football. He's accurate. Keep him. Please, Cleveland. Do not let another potential franchise guy walk like Baker Mayfield. Those are the 2 I think you need. Pickett and Gabriel, one of them's going to have to go. And Stefanski also said he's hopeful Sanders will get more reps this week and we'll get to see Shedeur next Saturday against the Rams. That's something to be fired up about, Browns fans, because week 1 was electric. It's fun to watch the kid. It's fun to watch him. So getting to see more Sanders, that's good news for the Browns fans, and I hope he's one of the quarterbacks that stays on the roster. If you had to cut one of them, though, because Stefanski's saying it's a possibility, which Browns quarterback would you move on from? Let me know in the comments if you had to cut one of the top 4 right now. Who would it be? I want to know. We'll talk about it. More news, ladies and gentlemen. It does not stop. Another big name linked to Cleveland. Jordan Schultz recently tweeted, "The Panthers, Browns, and Colts are among teams that have shown interest in trading for Trey Hendrickson." He also does note that an in-division, in-state trade is highly unlikely, and it'll be tough to get Trey Hendrickson on your team. Cincinnati is believed to want an impactful player and a draft pick in return. So I don't think that it's likely this deal gets done, but Cleveland picked up the phone. The Browns are interested in Trey Hendrickson, and why not? Hendrickson's an absolute monster. He was the league leader in sacks last season, 17.5 sacks. And you know who was second? Our guy, Myles Garrett, 14 sacks. Nick Bonito, Kyle Van Noy, Danielle Hunter rounding out that list. But the top 2 are being linked to Cleveland. Thank God Myles Garrett is still on the roster, and we did not get rid of him. But the Browns picking up the phone for Hendrickson. Not only did he have 17.5 sacks last season, he did that in 2023 as well. Hendrickson's been an absolute monster since entering the NFL with our division rival, Cincinnati Bengals. And I think it would be absolutely unreal if Myles and Hendrickson were on the same team. But I'm not saying go all in on it. Browns fans, I don't think it's a deal that's going to get done. I don't think it's a deal that Cleveland needs to do right now. You drafted Mason Graham, who's going to be a stud. And Hendrickson's 30 years old. If the Browns are in win now mode, maybe I'd say you go all in and go for it. But Cleveland's kind of rebuilding. There's a lot of things to figure out right now. Who's the quarterback? I showed you the amazing class of rookies. Let's build around them. If Cleveland was a team that made the playoffs last year and was pushing, I'd say, yeah, go get Hendrickson. It would be unstoppable to have Myles and Trey. But I don't think that's something that the Browns need to do. And Hendrickson's new team is going to have to pay him a lot of money. They're going to have to pay him a contract that he's happy with. something the Bengals, for some reason, won't get their act together to do. So I don't think it's something that Cleveland needs to do, but I do think that the Browns have always been interested in getting more and more defensive ends on the defensive line. I mean, they always like to draft them. You guys may remember Cleveland brought in Olivier Vernon. They brought in Jadeveon Clowney. For some reason, Cleveland's always attacking the defensive line when they have the best defensive player in the league. Well, that's because Myles Garrett sees double teams about every game now. It's like impossible for him to go a snap without being double teamed. So you have 2-star defensive ends. That's havoc. And eventually, if anyone lets Myles go one-on-one with a left tackle, it's game over. He's getting to the quarterback and sacking him. So while that would be amazing to fantasize about, I don't think it's a deal Cleveland's going to give up a lot of young talent and draft picks for when they have a great class of rookies and they're doing some rebuilding. Folks, if you made it to the end of the video, you're a real one. We love you. Appreciate you here on the Browns Report. Go ahead and smash that like button to let me know that you stayed to the end. I'll go and see, and I'll appreciate it. And as I said, we've got you covered with everything Browns as it happens here on the channel. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.